Hello, it's me, and today we are gonna talk some English. And it's been a long time since I did it last time. It was like 3 months or something. So uh, I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be harder this time to talk for an hour. Maybe it's gonna be harder than it was like last time. So I realized that, and but uh, I I said to myself today that if I wanna be like practicing English, improving my English, then I have to do that, no matter how hard it is. So today I wanna talk some things that interest me. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna uh, talk about, but I'm gonna keep talking. And if some people wanna listen, welcome. Listen to this thing. Maybe you're gonna find some interesting things for yourself. So. Um, Last time like I said, last time it was like 3 months ago. I did this thing. So I uh, then back then I said that maybe I'm gonna do this thing like every day. It's It turns out that it's harder than I realized back then. It's way harder than I realized, because it's like for an hour without anybody, like talking for yourself, like alone. It's harder. And I realized that make like many mistakes in my grammar, in my like vocabulary that I use, or other things. So like when you too much like self-conscious, it's harder to do it. Like first time I didn't realize, fully realized all those things, all those like mistakes. I thought about that like I speak like maybe like perfect English, quote unquote, but I this time I know that that's not the case, like with my English. Uh, so I stopped doing this like for 3 months. But last time I wasn't practicing at all, like for 6 months or or something like that. But this time I like practicing one time a week, like with some English speaker, native English speaker. So it's this time I realized many things, like not all the things, but many things that I have to improve. I have some vision, about the way, the path I have to go, like because last time it was like no direction, like I'm just doing something, but I didn't realize full picture. I didn't see like full picture. And this time I realized that I have to work like on my pronunciation, on my vocabulary, on my grammar, on other things. So this practices that I've been doing all this time, like for 3 months, one time a week. It was like obviously helpful and like very useful for me, cause like when you don't practice, you only have conversations in your head. Maybe like in your head, every sentence sounds like perfect for you, but when you speak, when you talk, actually, it's like you can see that it's like far away from that, because your muscles, like like mm, your tongue, your lips, everything, all your muscles that helps you make sounds, like uh, all this system, uh, like isn't used to make those sounds that you need to make in order to speak like good English, like average at least English. But not only that, but also like in your head, in your mind, when you speak, you sometimes you can't like pull up some vocabulary, some words, some terms that you know actually, but you can't pull this up because you are not used to this thing. In your head, when you talking to yourself, speaking to yourself, it's much easier, because you are like, you understand, you know what you know, like you know that you have this vocabulary, but you when you actually speak, like your brain can't do, uh, mm, at least it's harder for your brain to make two operations at the same time. Like sometimes you can't control, if you are not used to it, like you can't control your the sounds you are making, and also like vocabulary that you are using, also like grammar, like mistakes, and also like pulling up like vocabularies, words that you are like use not too often. It's harder, because it's like when you like put something in the drawer, or in the shelves, uh, in your home, or in your office, like if you are like using this thing that you put there often, then you know where this thing is, and like how can you find it easily, or like you do some things automatically. But if you don't use this thing that you put there, like it's harder for you, like if you understand what I'm saying, if you see what I'm saying, it's harder when you don't use something put somewhere, and when time comes, you have to like pull this thing up, like to use, it's like harder to find or to pull up, but if you are like using this thing often, it's easier to you to pull up, to find, to like look up. So vocabulary also, like this analogy works perfectly, like in case of vocabulary that you use. Some words that you don't use often, it's like in some place, you put it there, like you have it there, but you don't know like which drawer, which like shelf, like where exactly did you put that, and you have to look for a while. While you are looking for this word, like for specific words, the flow of conversation, the flow of your thoughts, like gets like this mm, interrupted. Like it gets like mm, distracted, and while you are looking for this thing, this for the word that you wanna use, that you have in your like in your baggage, you know, like there is like awkward situation, like while the person that you are having conversation with like waiting for you, while you are searching in your head. And also like you sometimes you lose your thoughts, your ideas that you wanted to like communicate. And sometimes like it's like completely disrupts the flow of conversation, like everything gets distracted, you get distracted, your like partner that you are practicing with gets annoyed sometimes. And it's like small things, but it matters, and the thing that I'm trying to say is that when you practice often, when you talk often, like make mistakes, it doesn't matter. Use some like inappropriate words or something else. It doesn't matter. But you gotta practice, because you have to pull up, use the things that you put in your shelf, in your drawer or somewhere else all the time, in order to be able to find it easier, like automatically. And like when times comes, you pull this vocabulary up and use it like perfectly, and it comes with words. You have to put in the work, put in the time, in order to be able to speak fluently. The fluency is not like is not the like perfect like fluency, perfect pronunciation in English. It's not the main goal. Perfection is not the main goal. Main goal is like stay in this path to fluency, to perfection. Even if you are not gonna achieve it like soon, even if you are not gonna achieve it like in like short term, but in long term, in long game, you're gonna be able to get closer, if not achieve the perfection or fluency or mastery, I don't know. So practice makes the practice makes the conversation or communicating ideas easier, much easier than you don't like practice, so the main idea, the main reason why I'm doing this conversations with myself, these practices with myself, it's the when you have conversation with someone, when you practice with someone, with a real person, it's like there is like many things you have to do, many things that you have to control, like you have to talk not too long, not too short, like and like you sometimes have to be quiet and listen to your partner, and not like be quiet like too long or too short, like don't interrupt your like your partner or like listen carefully. There is many things you gotta do, and you have to do those things also. But sometimes you wanna practice it like in in the gym, like when you do sport, like you don't all the time fight in the ring, you don't like spar all the time. Sometimes you do like other things, like in the gym, you maybe punching back, work with punching back, or lift some heavy stuff, or like roll with someone, like you know and this thing that I'm doing right now is like those things that like easy stuff, maybe not that easy, but it's easier than real conversation. It's like you are talking to yourself. There is no one that's gonna interrupt you. There is no one you have to be listening to. There is no one that there is nothing that you have to control. There is you and your flow of your thoughts or your ideas, your consciousness, and you have to just communicate it to your to microphone of your phone, like I'm doing right now. So it's much easier, much useful, and you can do it like for as long as you want, or like as often as you wish. It's much easier. Like you can be more like like you can do you can experiment with this thing, because when you are having real conversations, sometimes you think too much, like is this word that I'm going to use, like is this the right word, or like is my like my intonation is right, or like am I communicating clearly or not, like but like it's it's uh, it's it's like there is no room for you to experiment. If there is, it's like too little, too minimum room, like for you to experiment. But if you are doing things like that, like talking to yourself, like I call it talking to yourself, but maybe I'm like mistaken, like calling it like maybe I'm not using like right words to call it. Like maybe it's not talking to yourself, maybe it's speaking by yourself, maybe, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But when you're doing these things, it's like there is more room to to experiment with your vocabulary, with your ideas, with your intonation, like with like questions, with ideas, everything. Like there is like infinite room for you to experiment with stuff, and if you only have like real conversations, real practices, like with real people, it's good. Like there is nothing wrong. But if you are like doing also this stuff like this, it's like even better, even better, and it complements, like in a way, your real practices. Like it is also a real practice, don't get me wrong, but those practices with real people, it's more real, like if it makes sense, and when you have this type of practice and practices with real people, and also you are working on your grammar, on your vocabulary, on your like pronunciation, it's like full range of works, like if you are doing all those things, like not too much, like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, little bit of something else, and you build your confidence, you build your muscle strength, you build your neural connections in your brain, and it gets day by day, like week by week, it gets like more easier, like more easier, and you can like you don't realize it immediately, like you don't see results of your works, of the works that you are doing immediately. You sometimes you gotta be patient, more patient, you have to work, keep working, and give it some time, give yourself some time to see the results, because if like today you are working on your vocabulary, on your pronunciation, on your grammar, or other stuff, it's like putting money in the bank, sometimes when you put your money in the bank, you can't use like situations vary, but sometimes in some cases you can't use the money you put in the bank like immediately. You kind of have to leave your money in your account for some time in order to in order to in order for bank to use your money to make more money. Then you can use your money. Also, you have like plus some additional money, interest, it's called in English. So these works you are doing, all practices or like studying, everything it's like that, like you are putting your money in the bank. Maybe you're not gonna be able to use it like right away, but in the future you're gonna be able to use it, and you're gonna be happy that you put your money in there. Like in this case, you did your work, you've done your work, like you practiced, you like you practiced, you studied, you did everything, and it's money in the bank. I call it money in the bank, and this this whole thing, studying, improving, like sometimes you struggle, maybe like sometimes you suffer. Suffering maybe like too big of a word, but you kind of suffer sometimes when you study. Like you don't want to do that, it sucks, it's not fun sometimes. You like sometimes lose your like lose your goal, you lose your direction, where are you going, where you are going. And in those times, what I recently understood is like you sometimes you have to be just patient. Don't look for answers. Don't try to come up with some answer. Just give it a time, just like work hard. If you are like too much tired, like too like you like too like if you are exhausted, then give yourself a little bit of a break, not too long, but maybe if you are studying every day, maybe you can give yourself like uh, 1 or 2 days off, a day or two, maybe three, but not too long. Like 4 days is a long time for you to be having days off. So if you are exhausted, if you are like really having a hard time with studying, then give yourself a break. There is no shame in it. There is nothing wrong with it, But if you are just lazy, you have to be. That's also the one of the important things. You have to be able to distinguish laziness from exhaustion. Sometimes you are really exhausted, really tired, but sometimes you are just being lazy, like, being a bitch. Sometimes those times you have to pull yourself like up, like gather all your strengths and push yourself to the limits. If you are like feeling that you are having like if you are being like lazy rather than being exhausted, then you have to push yourself. Then you don't have other choices. Like if you are like one time lose to your laziness, you're gonna lose the second time, you're gonna lose the third time, you like keep going with that. So like it's gonna be harder to get like to the right path, once you lose to your laziness. So try to don't lose try to not lose to your laziness. If you did lose, then try to uh, push like even harder and try to get to your path like as soon as possible. And sometimes it might be hard to uh, exactly tell laziness from exhaustion, because when you are lazy you don't sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times you don't acknowledge it. You don't like admit it to yourself that you are being laziness is the tricky thing. It's challenging sometimes to like to detect whether you are being lazy or you are exhausted. And this is a skill, like to being able to uh, tell apart laziness from exhaustion. It's a skill, and like all the skills, you have to train for it. You have to practice it all the time. When you are like feeling exhausted, don't lay down, or like don't drop everything you are doing. Don't like give yourself crazy amounts of days, like crazy days off, like 4 5 days. Don't do that like right away. Like try yourself, maybe push, like try to push yourself. If you are like really really exhausted and you are really tired, you can feel it. So not to talk too much about it, but it's the it's one of the most important things in learning and improving in practicing. So sometimes I also like have these hard times, these like mm, these exhaustions, and sometimes it turns out that it was not exhaustion, it was like more of a laziness, you know. So um, it's like once you lose to your laziness, it's like it sucks, you know. If you will, it sucks because uh, it disrupts your momentum, you know. Like you once you get going, it's easier to do um, all the stuff that you need to do, you know, and all the stuff that needs to be done. And when the the momentum that you gained gets disrupted by your laziness, it's hard to like gain this momentum back, you know. And because of this, it sucks, you know. It really sucks. So um, don't be lazy. Don't try not to be exhausted all the time. It's one of the things. And also try to try to try to not to look for crazy ways of practicing, of learning. um, like try to instead of trying looking for crazy ways of learning, practicing, try to find ways that much simpler, um, much more accessible ways of learning, you know. If you don't have like me, if you don't have real person to practice with, just talk to yourself, you know. Have conversation with yourself. Record all your practices, record all your speaking, listen to it back, you know. uh, if you don't like how the way you pronounce some words, some specific words, or some terms, then try to change it up, you know, and use other things, other words, other terms, and you can experiment like infinitely with those things. And when you just when you have real conversations, sometimes it's hard to listen to yourself. When you are communicating, like I said before, you sometimes it's hard for your brain to do two operations simultaneously, you know. And you when you are talking to someone, you don't listen to yourself. You can't listen. You're in like your brain can't do this operation like at the same time when you are speaking. And but you are but if you have recorded all those practice, if you record all your practices, all your conversations, not with real people, but those conversations that you have with yourself on your device, you can listen to it like as many times as you want, you know, like as you need. Like you can listen to it right away, or like you record your practice and then you can listen it, like maybe like after a week, after like month, to in order to see the difference, to in order to see improve your improvements that you are making, if you are making. And and like you gonna be able to compare yourself, like today, if you like today you practice and you record yourself your practices, and then maybe after a day or two, maybe after a week, after a month, you can listen back to those practices and make some notes, make some detect some mistakes, like, and look, and to see like whether you have like improved the aspects, the areas of your English that needed to be improved in the past, without seeing that, without realizing that you are making those mistakes. If you did that, it's great. You've done the job, But if you didn't, improve, or like or change some aspects of your English that needed to be worked on, so then there is also nothing wrong with that. You now you can see that, now you realize that you are making some mistakes, and you can work on it, like in the future, like in the coming days, and there is so much of so much so much advantages of this thing, of this specific thing, like practicing by yourself, and also recording, that I can talk about it like Monday to evening, morning to evening. There is just too much of advantages in practices in general, and also this type of practices. So when like when you doing practices, when you're learning, when you're working on your English, in any aspects of your English, try to change things up, sometimes mix it up, try new things. If you're doing already this thing that good for you, try other things, and for me personally, it's always interesting to try to new things all the time. Like I find some ways of learning, some methods, some specific ways, and I try it, do it. Maybe it's gonna be fun. Then it's gonna be hard. Then it's gonna be even harder. But I all the time try to make habits, build habits. I use some method, some any method, then I use it up until I realize that it's already like my habit. It's became my it's become my habit, you know. And if I already built the the methods that I've been using like into my habits, then I move on because it's already in my baggage, you know. I made a habit of it, so I move on and try other things, also doing old stuff, old practices, old methods. And it's I kinda like build all the time, like use some new way, some new method, then make a habit of it, like build it into my habit, then use other stuff on top of it, you know. And the same thing happens, and use a new thing, try new thing. The same thing happens, and it's like tall building, you know. It's you keep building, and but in order to build tall buildings, your foundation gotta be like good, you know, of high quality. And your like ground floor, first floor, then you can build as tall of a building as you want, you know. And this this is like one of the important things that many people don't realize, that when you are using one specific way of learning, one specific method of practicing, and you if you stick to that all the time, you don't move, you don't try anything, you are like being like extremely extremely loyal to your methods, then you gonna hit the ceiling, you gonna plateau, you know. And your English gonna plateau. So then then people start asking question, why my English don't like, why my English are not improving, or like why I can understand English, but I can speak, or like why I like learn new words but I can't use it. All those things comes from your methods, from your ways of learning, from stuff you are doing. You all the time you have to like change it up, mix it up, shock your system, you know. If your brain like used to something, like it's concrete, it's already concrete in your brain, then use other things, you know, other methods. Because if you are not moving, you're gonna stink, you know. If water stays in one place, then that's water gonna stink. That's obvious stuff, you know. And your English also like that. It's maybe not gonna stink like literally, but it's gonna stop improving, you know. You're gonna stop improving if you're like not if we're not changing things by like changing things all the time, you know. So build your muscles also, like your muscles that you use when you speak. Like boxers, when they box, when they practice, they all the time through punches, through punches, punching back, or like work with mets, with their coaches, trainers. But imagine if boxers, professional boxers, wouldn't box at all in the gym, in practice, like if they don't spar, if they don't punching bags, or work with mitts. Just imagine they are just like getting theoretical knowledge, the coach, they're teaching them, but it's like only theoretical, only input, if there is only input in your practice, in your training, you're not gonna be produce, because producing needs output. You have to practice it. You need to improve your output. You gotta, if you wanna be good boxer, you of course you have to have theoretical knowledge. You have to know the stuff that you are gonna practice, like by heart at least. And also on top of that, you have to do physical stuff, output. You have to punching back, work with mates, spar with your training partners, work with your coaches, do physical stuff like strength and conditioning, all the things. And your work on your English also the exact same thing, I can say, because when you're listening to some things in English, when you're listening in English, when you're reading in English, you are getting just input, only input. This is only input, how much doesn't matter, right? Or 10 hours a day, 2 hours a day, 1 minute a day, it's just an input. But it's like birds, when they fly, they use 2 wings. Imagine a bird having only 1 wing. Obviously that bird is never gonna fly, and your English also like that. When you're having only input and you don't have output, you are not improving your output, then you are like that bird, that have only 1 wing. You have something, but you can't fly because you don't have other part of your wing. So when you're getting input, it's also good. There's nothing wrong with that. You have to do that. Like you have to get input every day almost. You listen, you read, or do other stuff, but you also have to produce. Something. You have to produce. There's have to be production. There's have to be an output. You have to produce words, produce sounds, produce vocabulary. By produce, I don't mean like came up, make up new words. What I mean by that is that you have to turn those inputs to outputs. You have to use those things that you listen, that you read, in like physical world, you have to produce it with your muscles, um, maybe you can write. It's also producing, it's also an output, you can write something, you can write essay, you can write, you can keep a journal, it's also like positive thing to do. And when you are getting input almost daily, and also like doing output, it's like like again with that bird analogy, you are like bird, having two wings and flying beautifully. Maybe first time you are not gonna be able to fly. There is nothing wrong with that. Any bird experiences that, but time passes by, and one day you'll realize that you are gaining more confidence, and more time passes, and you're gonna be able to fly someday, but you have to work, and work again, work, cause 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 like I said, like athletes, this athletes analogy works all the time almost, like athletes, if athletes won the championship in any sport, like in soccer, in boxing, in other things, in martial arts, if you won championship, then stopped, like, or like one fight, then stopped like working. Whoa, I hit my goal, like, I've reached my goal, like I won the fight, or like I became the champion. Then if you stop doing your practice, if you stop practicing your if you stop doing your thing, if you stop training, then you're gonna lose next fight. You're gonna lose the championship that you attained, like, right away, in the next fight. It's the same exact thing with your English. If you practice, if you've been practicing, if you've been getting input, putting output, and you had some good conversation with native English speaker, or not native, doesn't matter. If you had some good conversation, or like you listen some long audio file that is in English, and you understood it like 90%, you read some book, you understand it like 80%, or like you wrote some essay, it's almost perfect. And you if in and when those things happens, if you relax, if you get loosen, then you're being like that boxer that stopped training after winning one fight, after gaining championship. You're gonna lose next fight, you're gonna lose the championship, uh, you see what I'm saying? This learning stuff, practicing stuff, training stuff never stops. There is no end to that, you if you like, as soon as you realize that, it's much easier, it's gonna be much easier in the future for you, because there is no end to that. Like I said, there is no end to learning. 100 years live, 100 years learn. That's the saying. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but there is saying like that, you know. Like how many lives you, how many years you're gonna live, you don't know, but you're gonna dedicate. You have to dedicate yourself to learning every day, today, tomorrow, after like every week, every month, you know. And there is no ending for that. And championship style of life is like that, you know. You train all the time because you are on top of the mountain, and there is all other people that are trying to knock you off the top, you know. In English, there is no one that's gonna knock you off the top of the mountain. There's only you that's gonna knock yourself off, you know. Cause when you decide to stop, when you relax, when you loosen, that's the mistake. That's gonna that's gonna throw all the works out a window, you know, all the works that you have done, and it's only you. This practice of talking to yourself is like almost picture of your English journey, because there is only you. There is no one else. There is people also that's gonna help you in your journey, but there is no one that's gonna work for you, that's gonna put in the work for you, that's gonna put in the time for you. It's all those things you have to do by yourself, you know. There's no one that's gonna work for you. And all the time be confident in yourself, all the time be confident to ask questions to other people if you have one, and always practice, always hard work, always try to produce, try to get output, you know. Also try to learn other things, not like in terms of language, maybe other stuff that you are interested in, like technology, literature, movie. Try to learn about those things also, but not in your native language, but in English, you know. Practice English, but practice it like practice it smart, you know, the smart way. Practice it the smart way. Always try to not learn like boring, not try to not to do only the boring things, but try to do also fun stuff, you know. And don't be too harsh on yourself. There's gotta be checks and balances in your journey, in your life. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Also, don't be too soft on yourself. And practice all the times, you know. And this is the conversation that today I had with myself. It all the things that I've said today is it's all those things. It's for me, I'm saying all those things for myself. If you listen to it, if you find this interesting, that I'm happy to help you. So see you next time. Bye.